Hello, everyone. It's kind of post-ritual talk right now, okay? Last night, I did my ritual for gluttony, alright? And I was like too energetically drained afterwards to film. Plus, the lighting sucks at night here. Like, I can't really make a good video, quality-wise. So, anyways, um, it wasn't supposed to be that in-depth, but it ended up being really, I don't know, profound. I'm still kind of like wading through it a little bit, but essentially, I wanted to summon, and summon's probably not even a good word, like I wanted to summon a sin eater. And I kind of, uh, I really kind of thought about the fact that I could have like really conjured Totzelekotl, which is the Aztec goddess of filth, and is a sin eater. But I I had gotten the notion pretty close to the time of ritual last night that I didn't really want to mess with her. I was like, no, I'm gonna leave her be, okay? And because I was kind of trying to think about this like dark feminine aspect that I was kind of summoning. And then I thought, no, I'm just gonna generalize it and make it just like a sin eater, right? Just a sin eater come. And I laid out, I was kind of ritually garbed. Whenever I do ritual, I tend to wear the least amount of clothes possible. Just something in my brain, it makes it, instead of like garbing up, like have ritual clothes. Like I don't have any ritual clothes really. I have this dress kind of thing, robe dress thing that I wear that I can just kind of tie around myself and not have to wear any kind of like undergarments. I just like tie it around myself like a blanket, like a snuggie. And so I was wearing that, and I was laying on the ground, and I had brought some incense. I was outside, and I had brought some incense and some candles and stuff. And I laid there and meditated for a while, and then I got this strong urge to lay all the way down, right? And I put my arms out like this, and it started to feel really, really weird, like I was the sacrifice. And in terms of sacrifice, or I'll say offering, I did offer the sin eater. I wanted my offering to be, because it's a sin eater, because my sin this year for which is Black Lent is gluttony. I thought about the food, the concept of food, the concept of like this gumbo, right? Like throw it all together, dishes and stuff like that. I didn't have the ingredients for gumbo, so that fell flat. But stew. I had some stew, and it was kind of cool last night, so that was okay. I only had a few, like a small bowl of it. But anyway, so I had that, and I had my sangria. I had made some sangria up. Now I don't drink alcohol. I don't know. It's just not my thing. So making a huge thing of sangria was pretty weird for me, but I was really called to make a sangria because it's a wine, and you mix some, I put cointreau in mine when I used to make cocktails, I guess. Cointreau is like an orange liqueur. I put that in it with some brown sugar, and then of course apples, pomegranate seeds, oranges, and lemons. And I just throw it all in there, right? And then I let it sit for a little while, like a couple of hours, to kind of marry all of stuff, but not too long, or everything goes to mush. And so anyway, I had a cup of that, and I end up pouring my libations out. So if I have offerings and I'm outside and it's a ritual, and I try to romanticize and make the ritual theatrical in some way, then I tend to like to pour out my libations. So the sangria kind of got poured out ritualistically on the ground, yada yada yada. But then I got a strong urge to lay down and splay my arms. So then it started to feel like I was some kind of weird sacrifice. But then I got these tingly feelings, and I had my phone out there because I was gonna film afterwards, but that didn't work out. And I got another strong urge to play some music. Now, usually music and me go hand in hand with ritual, and most of the time when I work in my sin, with my sin, I play some kind of Gregorian chant, right? Some kind of Latin chanting, religioso kind of music going, okay? Just as another form of heresy that I can that I can blast into it. But I don't know, this Sin Eater wanted opera. Okay. So I played some Italian operetta music, and which ended up working out fine for me. Sometimes if the music is too kind of like electronic or chaotic, like I'm at a rave, it tends to overstimulate me in a rituals in ritual. So I tend to not like it to be too chaotic. But opera seemed to work out. I don't know why they wanted opera. Why? I don't even really play that. I had to like really search for it. And so anyway, I'm laying there, I'm listening to opera. I'm not really, because I don't understand Italian, I didn't really know what was going on. And so I was feeling the emotions, and then I started to get these tingles in my core, which made me activate my core, like I was, sucking in my stomach kind of thing. And I was laying down, I was sucking in my stomach, and I started to feel these tingles, and I got this vision of me getting operated on. Okay, the Sin Eater, obviously, they had like sliced me or something, very surgical, very weird feeling. And there was no pain or anything, it was just the tingles, and it still felt like I was almost felt like I was nauseated, but in a good way. Like I'm sick, but I need to purge, right? So it kind of felt like a purge was going to happen. I didn't get sick, thank goodness. But it started to feel really weird, like I was purging something. And I started to get these visions of this like black sludge beings. Like I was in this industrialized warehouse room or something. And I don't know, the wind is going to blow. I don't know if it's going to blow my phone over. Anyway, so it was like an operation, but these sludgy, black, oozing figures, they weren't speaking or anything. They were just they looked like they were operating. And then I started to get a really weird feeling. Okay, a lot of this has been weird. I started to get a really weird feeling because I started to think, why are you eating my sins? I'm not. The aspect of Sin Eater means that obviously what you would eat would be the sins that I commit, but I don't believe in sin that way. I don't believe in sin as, okay, I need to become pure. I need to lose the thoughts of lust and greed and all the sins that I would have in my body. They're automatically going to be there. That's a natural occurrence. So I stopped the operation, like mentally, right? I stopped it. I was like, no, I don't really want you to operate on me, because what you're going to eat is a part of me. It would be like them eating a part of my soul. And so it started to feel really like I really was the heretic in this ritual. Like almost like I'm gonna offend them, And I wanted to stitch myself up in this mind's eye palace thing that I was in, okay? This industrial warehouse operating room. I wanted to stitch myself up. And when I started to stitch myself up, I was kind of wanting to make small talk, right? Just kind of to appease, right? I was like, listen, I know what's going, I know that this is all seems weird. I brought you here to do what you were going to do, to do what you were going to fulfill. And it still feels like I was disrespectful because I wanted to stop the ritual, but I wanted to explain myself. So I started to kind of ramble on in this conversation I was having with myself, and I got this distinct phrase, okay, because I asked point blank. I was like, okay, where are you? Are you part of my soul? You know, if there's an aspect of human nature that is sinful that lives in me, okay, which again, I don't necessarily believe. I believe that sin and virtue both are part of human nature. Then where would the archetype, if for lack of a better word, an entity, live inside me? And the only statement that I got was, I live in Pandora's box. And I was thinking, what? The ever-loving hell. See, like the wind. Can't make this shit up, okay? And I thought, Pandora's box. I asked about me, right? Like, not some other myth, not some other thing. Like, what are you talking about? And so I've been I took some notes last night, and I, got out of ritual or whatever. And it started to feel like a crucifixion. I was getting crucified. But then when I got, and I was ritualistically getting operated on or whatever, in this weird astral place or whatever, this weird meditation place. And when the spoken statement was, I live in Pandora's box, I was thinking, so Pandora's box is inside me. Pandora's box is my soul. The sins, the virtues, and a potential sin eater, the one that's going to hold my morality and hold my moral compass, lives in my soul, the place of grace. So I do have a sin eater, but I also have a sin maker, right? Someone who makes it and then someone who eats it. And it's like this Ouroboros, right? And I kept getting this Ouroboros, this cycle, and kind of like I talked about before, working with this sin has really been making me come to grips with the engorge and empty, right? Like the temperance card in tarot. Like I'm engorging in all the manners, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, I'm engorging, but then I have to empty as well. And it's like this bodily, magical ritual cycle, that I go through all the time, at all times. And it was weird because the fact that I stopped the surgery or whatever, like I was some operation in like the operation man in the operation game. Don't take anything out of me, because it was like the cycle and the sin eater, sin maker thing that I was thinking about meant, okay, I only summoned the sin eater. I only summoned one part. I didn't summon the whole being. I didn't summon Pandora. Weird feelings, weird notes. And I think what I was thinking about too with this whole thing was the self-portrait that I made. I'll leave a picture up here if you haven't watched any of my other videos. I drew it out one night because I was thinking about Beatrice, which is the character in Dante's Divine Comedy, okay, which is underpinned in the Witch's Black Lent as like this, I guess what you could call the sacred text of Witch's Black Lent. And Beatrice is so loved by Dante that he that's what he's going for. He's going to get, meet her and meet her in heaven, find her in heaven. And he has to go through all this, hell and purgatory to get to heaven, to get to Beatrice. And I had this huge vision in my head about Beatrice eating hell, and hell as the Botticelli painting of the layers of hell that was like a triangle, There you go, triangle. That looks like a giant cookie, triangle-shaped cookie. So, but I wanted it to be her. I wanted to be her, and I was her. And it was the same thing in this ritual, that my soul there lives in my soul a sin eater and a sin maker. I'm Beatrice, but I'm not Beatrice, and I'm eating hell, but I am hell, and so anyway, that self-portrait was of me as Beatrice in this kind of like pre-Raphaelite drawing style thing, and me as Beatrice, and I'm holding that like Botticelli cookie of hell, you know. And so I'm eating hell and I'm becoming hell. And the whole mission statement behind this year's gluttony was, I'm going to eat the world to become the world. But that's exactly what this ritual was teaching me, was that if I allow the sins to be eaten, I've got to make my sins too. And how all that's okay. All that has to be okay. There was something that was this cycle, this sin eater, sin maker cycle that I was in, made me think more about all the other sins than just gluttony, which is always kind of profound because you know that they're all kind of linked up together, you know. But I really wanted to concentrate on the sin eating aspect, but because it went somehow against my beliefs and I was in this heretical mindset, I was getting crucified on the grass. I was surgically opened to the elements, inviting something to eat my sins when I don't even believe that they needed to be eaten. I didn't even believe that I needed to be pure. I'm not going to say I don't believe in purity. I'm just not going to believe in the power of sin, and the power of virtue is different in my mind than it is in, I guess you could say, classic religiosity. So I don't know. The concept of gluttony really stopped me from going that direction. That I don't need to be empty. And if I am empty, it's not a problem if I am empty. But I can't be a barrel with a hole in it. I'm not a barrel with a hole in it. I've got to find ways to cyclically empty and renew myself and my morality and my heresy, because I think they work together. And I needed, when I conjured the sin eater and this black sludgy surgeon thing, I needed to have summoned a sin maker, someone of the same sludge material, right? Because they're two sides of the same coin for me. This dualism would have had to rise up in this surgical area, and they would have been like this robotic thing that was like this 3D printing thing that was like, you know, like that thing in Fifth Element when they're making Lilu, okay, and it's like, and then they're building her. I would have needed that along with the sin eater, and they would have stood over me like this, and one of them would have been sucking me through a straw, and the other one would have been, you know, making me with all these surgical tools and magic needles and stuff, and they would have been adding stuff. I'm telling you, this exercise of the Black Lent always makes my imagination just okay. So anyway, what are y'all's thoughts? I don't know. I know a couple of you have already made your finale videos, so I'm excited to dive into that. I know that Vonnie over at the Vonnie S, I think that they've made their finale video. I need to watch that. So anyway, excited to wrap things up. I'll see y'all on Jasmine's channel for the Feast of Fiends pretty soon, and we'll wrap up this year's Lenten season. Okay, hope everyone's having a heretical day. Much love.